You know what? Okay, fuck it. We just put the phone down?
Yeah.
Wait for it to work? All right.
Yeah.
We'll kick right into it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Sex Actually Podcast. Episode, I think it's 270. We have a special guest, lucky number 270, LoMariee. How are you today?
Great. How are you guys?
I'm doing very well. And then we have Tasha Courtney, who's the co-host with the co-most.
Thank you.
So Sex Actually here. Tasha and I have already dug way deep in our relationships. We've talked about everything. You know, we made it. This is our 4-year anniversary actually this week, which is crazy.
Oh my goodness! Congrats.
Well, thank you.
That's so sweet.
I feel like it's like when the marathoner.
A long time.
I was going to say it's a really long time. Oh my god.
Like
I don't know where the time went.
When a marathoner like makes it to the finish line, but they like shit their pants. That's where we are. That's 4 years in, and I know there's somebody listening with like a 30-year relationship, being like, "Bro, you haven't even finished stretching yet."
Oh my god.
That comic last night, he had a good bit about marriage. What was his name?
The fat guy? Or
the guy who finished out the show with the big eyes.
Jackson McQueen.
Yeah, Jackson McQueen.
I love that you don't say the black comic. You say the one with the big eyes. The one black comic on the show, and you're like, oh, his eyes were big.
Well, he had a joke about that too. But he did. He said that like marriage has terrible PR because like whenever you ask somebody like, how's it going? They're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Who would get married? Who would get married in today's world, right? Isn't it? I mean... You just see that do you get like dudes hitting on you on Instagram and stuff that are clearly probably, you know what I mean? Like there's so many guys out there.
Yeah.
How do you filter out them, like the sleaze bags from the guys who are actually?
Well, are you dating anyone or are you single?
No, my god.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm just not a relationship type. My last one was probably like 2016.
Okay.
I have had so much fun since then.
Yeah, it's
I really just blossom on my own.
I really love being single as well. Sorry, Dave. I mean, but like, I really do. I like
That's
being
the episode,
single.
everybody. What a weird way to end the relationship.
I don't know. A lot of people, you know, when they're single, they're like, oh, I just wish I could find someone.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I like going out and meeting new people.
I think I just do really well on my own. And I really have this weird thing. Like, I just hate having someone to answer to.
Yeah.
I'm like out of control. Like I would date someone and they'd be like, hey, like, what are you doing? And I'd be like, oh my God, like, what do you need? What do you need?
Have you had guys that were just so controlling that now even the littlest thing?
That literally my only like real relationship, and I lived with him. Oh my God, that was insane.
I
couldn't even hang out with like family and stuff, but that was like really excessive.
Controlling, I feel like, doesn't start right away. It's like a Trojan horse of like, oh, this
Yeah.
guy's great, and then all of a sudden
A
he's
few
like,
months
you
in,
think
they're like,
it's
who the fuck do you think you are going out with your friends?
how did how did it start? How did the controlling start?
Oh goodness, let me think back to.
So this is
I feel
2016.
like it starts out with like compliments and like it's like little subtle things and you're like, oh, he just really cares about
Yes,
it. Like,
exactly.
Like check in when you get home,
Yeah,
like that sort of stuff. Like I
exactly.
just want to know you made it home safe after your girls,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, he's just he wants to know that I like got in.
Oh my God, he
safe
cares
after
about
night
me
out.
so much.
But actually, he's like he wants to know what time
Yeah,
you got in and are you
exactly.
alone and
Yeah.
like all this stuff.
Well,
Exactly.
okay, I ask you these questions because so this is 2 years ago. You both have sizable Instagram followings, which is important to note for this episode. I like to relate Instagram size followings to like how many would fit in a football stadium. So you're both around the same amount. You're both around the same. You're both like
a small soccer stadium, maybe.
No. You're both Rose Bowl. You guys both have Rose Bowl
Really?
hotness. Yeah.
Wow.
So congratulations. You get like a little Rose. Not Coachella. Not putting $2 million on the grass. But Rose Bowl. That's good. That's big. I
like the Rose Bowl. I like Pasadena. Have you ever been to the flea market at the Rose Bowl?
No. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I've heard about it so many times.
I haven't
I'm
been in
obsessed with that
ages,
stuff.
but I want to go. I think it's the second Sunday of every month.
See,
I
my
really
following
should go.
is the size of that flea market, like after they've wrapped up.
When they're
There's just the vendors left.
They're just picking up their junk. Like
If you include like the artisanal rugs, that's my following. But you guys both fit into a nice 80,000 seat arena, so good for you.
Thanks.
Congratulations!
That's awesome.
But no, I'm asking because with relationships, you've got a guy. You've got to have a guy who's okay with random dudes.
You have
messaging
to have a confident guy who's not the slightest bit insecure. Otherwise, that's just a downward spiral.
I've grown because I'm not saying I was insecure, but it's annoying. Like like
no,
Tasha.
of course. And what they say isn't always like just a friendly compliment. It's actually hardly ever that.
Yeah.
Like they're saying some pretty dirty shit. I honestly could never date an Instagram. I couldn't date anyone like even remotely famous. I would lose
Really?
it. Yeah.
But you need a guy that can handle your.
No, it's extremely. That's why I don't do relationships because it's not even fair. Like it's extremely one-sided.
but
I'm like, I want it this way. and I can do whatever I
It's a
want.
Backstreet Boy. I want it that way. It's because I feel like, models date photographers a lot. Like, that's a thing. Because photographers have to deal, but then so the model has to deal with the photographer,
Constantly
on
shooting
top
gorgeous
of
girls.
with his
Gorgeous
balls
girls.
flapping around on top of it. I always use that analogy because Tasha had a photo like in the sand on the ground, and I'm like, everyone sees a beautiful girl on the ground, and I see a dude standing on top
Over
of her.
Yeah, literally.
And there's some of the
Ball
photographers
sweat on her
love to
face.
just dripping down. Like, humidity is a bitch. But there's always like the photographer who includes like his toes in the photo, and it's like, bro, chill the fuck out.
I know, his feet, like both his shoes, and you're like, we get it.
It's like, we get it.
Literally.
You would not be on top of this girl if you didn't have a camera with a, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But guys,
But it's almost like because we can see it both ways. Like then it's like an even trade of trust.
Yeah.
It's it works out that way. It's like, well, that I am looking up at lots of photographers' balls, and I know that you are looking down at lots of models.
But Tasha's like with me. I do stand up, right? So like I've got this clear barrier between stage and audience. There's flirting and mingling afterwards, and you can tell like you're flirting with the audience. You're just kind of fucking around with them, trying to be likable. It's kind of the same dynamic. But I'm not in a room being like, put that lacy thing on. Like I'm not doing that.
I don't know. I think you're talking about intimacy, right? Like that sort of situation would be very intimate when it's just two people and you're shooting and like you're giving them like sexy eyes and all of that. But what you're doing is also intimate because it's vulnerable. Like your jokes are they come from a place of truth, so it's like vulnerable and therefore intimate. You might be talking to a whole room full of people, but somebody who's listening might connect with that and think that you have this like spiritual bond.
Afterwards they're like like this girl the other night had nice hair, and I needed to mention that for my joke because I used to have long hair. And her hair looked like mine. I know I'm just complimenting my hair, but I was complimenting her hair, but then also apologizing because as a guy I can't compliment women's physical appearances anymore. Even though I know women, I know women want to be complimented on their physical. Here's the thing: women in general. I know females are listening, going like, "Oh yeah, tell me about women." Go ahead. I have the right to. I've watched them for 3 decades. Women in general want to be judged for like what's on inside, but individually, it's like tell them what's good on the outside. Would you agree or disagree?
I'm gonna say that compliments are nice. That's what I'm gonna say.
I'm not, and I wasn't like nice hair. You want to fucking like I didn't do like what every Instagram comment is. I didn't do that.
I don't
think
a compliment that's like innocent and friendly would offend anyone.
Yeah, because
it's one thing if you're like, wow, that top looks really nice, and it's like a low cut something, but like
and you're like
my
staring
favorite
at my
compliment
nips.
is when they're like, you have such pretty eyes. I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
If someone said you have nice hair, I'd be flattered.
It's the difference between
Man or woman.
sincerity and like, what are you trying to
get?
That's the difference that people are trying to make the distinction now in the midst of like Me
also,
Too
like,
and everything
are you
else. It's like
walking by
catcalling is not a compliment.
Oh my God.
Catcalling, there's a difference because it's like, what are you trying to get out of me? You're not just trying to like make me feel good. No, you're trying to get my number and you're being a perv.
A compliment, you just state the fact. At catcalling, you say what you're going to do with that fact. So a compliment's like, oh girl, you got nice eyes, or you have a nice butt. And a cat calls like, girl, I want you to sit on my face with that ass.
Oh my God.
Like, that's the difference. So gentlemen, just so you know, we've just solved all the problems with feminism.
I really do want to know though if that ever works for anyone. I want to know if ever catcalling has been successful.
I lived in
I don't
Harlem.
think a single
I want you to sit on my face and like, well, and then they hop in the car and like drive off into the sunset. I just don't think so.
I'm on my lunch, but but
I have a minute.
To sit on a face. I don't know, honestly. I mean, it has to have worked. I mean, I lived in the Dominican part of Harlem, and that's where catcalling, I think, is the epicenter. That's where it started. And it's weird because girls are getting out of high school or even middle school, and they're developed at some ages. Yeah. And there's these old men playing dominoes. Sounds racist, but these are the facts. And they're just like, some of the shit they say, you're like, holy fuck. You could easily like be talking to your granddaughter, not knowing it. You know what I mean? And it's but. Yeah, there's obviously going too far, but I do think there are some levels of what would be considered catcalling that do work. Maybe not with white chicks. I don't know.
Okay.
You think these dudes just randomly are wasting their time?
I mean, I guess there is the possibility that it works like 0.01% of the time, but you would think that the failure would discourage people because 99.99% of the time.
It's 100% of the shots you don't take. That's what Wayne Gretzky said, the greatest hockey player of all time. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and the funny thing is you always hear from older women that are like, I'll fucking love it.
Yeah.
Because-
Oh my God. I swear, like past a certain age, you're like, oh my God, it's so nice to be complimented. And I'm like, if that's your form
idea
of a compliment, like you have way worse problems.
Well, let me ask you this: if you walk
Well,
by
they're probably getting less and less compliments. As
yeah, they're
they
not
get
used to getting
older.
attention, so they're just like, I'll take it from anyone.
I did a side gig and I drive people around, and I drive this lady Valerie around. She's in her 80s, and Valerie she's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman. Her husband died. She's a widow, and she's got this like broken soul, but she's so sweet. Sometimes Tasha, you've been on the phone with me when I've driven her, and she's like such a gem. And just her talking to me makes her day. And I feel weird saying that, but I know that's like you absorb the energy of others, and if you're an older person, you absorb the youthfulness. And if a 40, and not to call someone in their 40s old, but if you're 48 years old and you walk by a construction site and some guy's like, "Girl, your legs look beautiful," I'm sure they're like, "Oh, fuck right they do." I don't know, but obviously he's not like, "Those legs look beautiful. Wrap them around my neck." You little
Oh my God,
taking it too far. But yeah, so like, I mean, okay, so I wanted to say this. Tasha posted a photo of her and I. We did like a couple's photo shoot, and I know, like I always say, she probably lost 900 followers by posting a photo.
Seriously,
it happens. Yeah, it happens.
I look at her stats. She posts a normal photo.
It probably has like less than 500 likes, and like a normal, like I'm looking for like 2,000 plus likes on a photo, and I post one with him, and it's like, nope, not gonna happen.
She could fart into a bed sheet like and get 1,000 likes, and she posts one with me. It's a good photo. And then, but the funny thing is some dude left a comment, and I'm not crazy. I acknowledge it, but I don't lose sleep over it. And he left a comment being like, "You are so gorgeous," and you wrote back with like a kissy emoji, and I'm like,
oh, no.
I'm in the fucking photo.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I was trying to like. You know how sometimes when you first post a photo, like the first few comments, I try and write back to them.
No, I know. I try to engage with not almost everyone, but a lot of people on my Instagram.
I like don't do it. I've heard that you're supposed to like write back everyone. I can't, but
no.
But I try to like, especially if you write something witty or funny, or if you ask me a question, I'll answer it. But if you're just like, hey, or like just emojis or whatever.
All right, that's our first note for the gentleman. Witty or funny?
No, I was gonna say I literally almost respond to every DM that like makes me laugh out loud, and my followers are really funny.
Yeah,
like they are hysterical sometimes. Their responses to things. And I have no choice but to write back like laughing for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Has a guy ever made it out of the DMs with you?
Yes, and I always regret it.
Let's break this down. Okay.
Yeah,
that's what I literally thought about this.
Because guys are paying attention now. They're like, okay, they got their notes out. They got like they're ready. Okay.
So, I've been thinking about this so much lately because I swear it always just gets out of hand, and it's like I feel like it's so unfair to end up being uncomfortable for being friendly and engaging.
Yeah,
like for responding and being like, "Oh, that was so funny," and every so often they'll respond to me again, and I'll respond and whatever. One guy was really, really funny, and he just seemed like he would be a fun friend, and he was a friend of a friend. So I was like, okay, whatever, he's probably cool. We literally were talking about The Bachelor. We were joking about The Bachelor. And so he eventually was like, come on, like, let's just go get sushi, blah, 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 whatever. I was like, okay, well.
And you look through his profile
You're like,
photos.
yeah,
he looks normal.
Pretty delicious.
I was like, yeah, he said Nobu, not just sushi. So I was like, okay, I'll be there. And I was like, whatever, I'll give him my number. He's DM'd me back and forth probably for like maybe a few months now, and he seems cool and normal. And it was like probably 4 days after that I had to block his number.
Really?
Not even maybe 4 days. I don't know.
Okay, so you didn't meet in person.
No.
You didn't make it to the sushi.
No.
What did he do wrong?
He asked you to go to Nobu. You exchanged numbers to make the plans.
It's like a game of Monopoly. He made it past go. He collected his money, but he didn't get to buy the property. He didn't get that far.
Yeah, once again, going back to like not wanting to be in a relationship, I don't even have my phone set for like notifications.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like hearing from people. Like if I want to talk to you, I literally will reach out to you.
You got to give her the introvert sign that we have.
Yeah.
Reach behind you and grab the pile of signs.
Oh, shoot.
We're gonna pull out would you consider yourself an introvert?
Absolutely.
For those listening on the audio, we're on YouTube. So go to the YouTube page, and we actually created little signs that we have here. So introverts. So you got your little introvert sign. And then just for fun, I'll have my sperm sign. So sperm, introvert. So sperm doesn't work with the introvert unless unless you're buying her sushi, I guess. That's how it works.
No, I can completely relate.
You don't have to hold it up the whole time.
Okay.
I just wanted to showcase the signs we made. We'll put that on the Instagram too. So if people listening, Sex Actually Pod on Instagram, we'll make sure. And also, what is your Instagram? Tell the audience, because I'm sure people are listening, going, I'm trying to like search you right now so they can follow along.
At LoMariee. LOMARIE.
And then Tasha Courtney at Tasha Courtney, if you wanted to like her photo that she posted with me.
Yeah, you can like that whole top row because it's not performing. Thanks.
So what does he do? So his text game was off.
It was just so excessive. Like
really overwhelming.
Yeah, it was like I would hear from him probably like 4 times a day. And when I didn't respond, like he literally maybe an hour would go by and he would send like a question mark or like an arrow, like hello. I'm like, no, I did see it. Trust me,
geez.
I saw your message.
Arrow?
Yeah,
Like that. Only in
it's
relationships.
obnoxious.
Like Tasha can send me a question mark if I didn't get back in half an hour. Like only in relationships.
That's
Bitch,
what I'm
hello.
saying.
But you have to hide that freakiness.
Yeah, that's a little over the top.
You
Hide
guys
your crazy
literally
in the
fake
beginning.
it till you make it. We would have gone to sushi. You made it out of the DMs. You got my cell phone number. And even still, when he was texting me, it was like, oh, so, well, now that we're friends, like, think I could get a follow back? And I'm like, you know how many people don't have my number? And you're still bitching about the fact that I don't follow you on it. Like, no, I'm not following you back.
Here's the problem.
Care to see what you post.
Is you were out of his league emotionally. Like, you were out of his league. He was so excited to have, and I'm sure he was thinking of Mexican vacations and
Yeah, it's like
photos
a conquest
together.
kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's like you didn't even get to the goods or the live action. You just didn't, like, he blew his load on the text that he got.
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean? And that's so many guys. I mean, in today's world, it used to be like you'd meet a girl and you'd stress in your own mind, and then, you know, you'd get all the courage up and not have to make a fucking phone call. And I sound old, and way back in the day, like in my high school days, you got to call their fucking landline.
Their
and
house, and you got to like talk to their mom.
That best case scenario, mom's loving me. It's the dad you're worried about, and then you hear him the shotgun in the background, and like all I want is like, please go to voicemail. This is Dave. Once a girl called me, and let's call her Becky because that's the basic girl name we use. And I swear she left me a voicemail, and she did what I would do, which was fuck everything up. She was like, this is what she said. She goes, "Hey Becky, it's Dave." And she started panicking, and then she panicked and she hung up. And it was so funny because like it's almost like nowadays we're so curated. You don't send something till you really know what you're saying. But imagine sending a voicemail when you couldn't take it back.
Yeah.
And she's like, and she
But
clicks.
don't you think that made our personalities better? Like having to deal with the fuck up, like hanging up does not erase your message.
No,
the
exactly.
message exists.
You cannot
so like
go back.
you had to learn how to like sort of like brush it off and move on with your life.
Yeah.
I just want to do rough math here. You're a 90s child, born in the 90s, so you don't know. You don't even
90s
know. I don't think you
baby.
understand the voicemail game you had to have when you call someone's
Yeah, I was pretty young. Yeah.
Because nowadays it's like, you know, you're at least getting to the right number, and no one would call. I mean, if you gave a guy a number and he called you back, would you answer? Would you be like, what the fuck? Would you go to voicemail? Like, what's the play there? What do you expect the guy to do if you do give him your number?
Text you, obviously.
Yeah, but then from there on, just like let me do my thing, and I'll hit you up if I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
I think
I just
you
feel like we went back and forth for so long, and we talked about a lot of things, we laughed, whatever. I thought that it was like totally safe, and then it's like if you could have just been literally calm for like maybe a week and not have blown me up. So literally, it was probably 3 days later I had to block him, and I was like, that sucks because we could have been friends, and now I'm regretful for being friendly and welcoming because I really do engage with a ton of my followers, and I'm always really, really nice to them. And I just don't know why they have to like destroy it so quickly.
Oh yeah, and I feel like that happens. I even
Pulling out
remember
the
this
needy
like
card.
from.
Guys, don't be needy. This is such a.
Or
I remember,
don't be a
like-
Pisces either. I've dated those, and they're the worst.
Super emotional,
What
right?
worse.
What is that? What time of year is that?
I think
Pisces?
is it March?
Yeah, I think it is. It's next to Aries, right?
Yeah,
Pisces
I'm an
and
Aries.
You're an Aries.
1/12 of our listeners just turned off.
I know. Bye.
I mean, you're going to feel these. I think neediness is a two-way street. I think whoever isn't giving the other person enough, that other person becomes needy. So, like in our
of course,
relationship,
yeah.
if Tasha just like starts ghosting on me and not showing, I'll get a little needy. I'll be like, hey, what
Yeah.
the fuck? I always say this. I don't need much with my like my love language. I don't need much, but just respond. I don't need a paragraph or constant dialogue. I mean, we've been joking around. Like sometimes Tasha will call me, and I'll be like, I have nothing to say to you, but I'm happy you called.
Somebody also needs to understand, especially in a new relationship, like you have a life. You're not checking your phone all the time. Like I have a job where I can't check my phone all the time. So if I don't get back to you until 5:30 p.m., then that's what it is. And like keep your cool.
Yeah.
If you can't keep your cool now, boy, oh boy,
I
there's
was
a
gonna
lot of other stuff
I was
coming.
gonna say I do need attention, but I think I prefer someone who's like more independent. I like having to like just a tiny bit of a chase.
Yeah.
I mean, do not ignore
Well,
me
when you
actively.
When you say independent, I don't want to speak for you, but I think what women like in general is a guy who's on his own mission, who has his own thing. That's what
I don't want to be your number one priority. I want
musician,
you to do your thing.
Even a guy who's got a normal job, he's like, you're not going to get in touch with him on the 9 to 5. He's got shit to do, and or he should have shit to do. Like, men, listen, you should have shit to do. Relationships need
you
to be
should
the dessert,
have
not
other
the main
stuff
course.
going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially for like my personality type and yours, I think too. As an introvert, like, you are going to very easily overwhelm me if you are like demanding my attention all the time. I need my alone space. I need my alone time.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I just didn't write back because I don't feel like it right now.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of like
if my phone's gonna go off again, I like literally will have a little panic attack.
Yeah.
Tasha and I were friends, and I'd sent her a text message like, I think we should try going on a date. And she didn't respond.
I was like, I needed to process for like 2 hours. I needed to
2
think
hours.
about
It was like she got back to me the next day, and I was like, "Yeah, I definitely still texted you. I think I had the screen grab.
Okay,
of the
but
conversation.
you didn't text her again, right? You
Yeah.
waited for. Thank
Yeah,
you. Look where you are now. If you sent her a question mark or an arrow or like repeatedly blew,
like, hello.
I know you're
She
awake.
would've-
I saw your
yeah.
Snapchat. I know you're doing something, because that's what guys will do. They're like, "Hey," and I'll get mad. Like if Tasha's not responding to me, and then I see her Instagram, and I'm like, "You're doodling your fingernails on Instagram."
Yeah.
Like I know you're on your phone, but like you can't show that. I mean, in a relationship, you get to a point you can't meet someone and be like, "What's your love language? What do you like?"
But
you need to be ready to diagnose what the other person needs and try to give them that, not what you need.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in early on, when you're trying to build this little flame here, this guy that you had to block, I mean, it's insane. You gave him a shot. You literally pulled the goalie, and you were like, all you got to do is shoot. And instead, he was like dribbling the ball, being like, it's all you had to do was like take a timeout, take a chug of water, chill out. And that's what a guy should do. As soon as the ball starts rolling, put the phone away and go for a run. Like, clear your head. Go jack off. Literally, go do something that's going to take the pressure off you trying to make this work. It's the most counterintuitive thing in the world for men to know. And then finally, we realize it. The old movie Swingers. I don't know if you ever saw Swingers. Vince Vaughn, when he was skinny.
I only saw that just like last year for the first time. And Vince Vaughn, he's like young and skinny. It's so weird to watch him.
And he
also looks like a 20-year-old.
The dude who directs Iron Man, what's his name? He's a big director now, but he was.
Oh yeah, he did that. We saw him at that pool party.
Yeah,
the food
in fact,
guy.
He was also skinny back in the day. I know there's a million people like saying his name, but anyway, the scene is he's like, when do I know I'm going to be over this girl? And Vince Vaughn's like, you're going to know because you're going to be over her, and then she's going to want you back. And he's like, well, that's the rub. The rub is that it's when you stop caring, and what they're talking about is detachment. When you stop needing the other person, they'll be like, okay, I'm cool. It's like when you're chasing after your dog. The second you stop chasing him, he's going to run back to you.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to call women
turn
dogs.
around and run the other way. No, but it's true. You just sort of have to be like cognizant of like, okay, every person is different. Everybody needs their own time. Every single person in this world is guilty of not texting back immediately. You will not find me a single person on this planet who has sent back a message every time they receive one.
Well, it's heightened by social media, by having the access to the fingertips. We expect it. And whenever you hear of anyone who really reaches success, they always say they go back to like a flip phone. The second you don't need that shit, you're like.
I mean, if I didn't need it for work, I would totally, because I miss the days of
I miss my BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But
Did you have the
just like not
one?
having to answer.
I think so.
Do you remember? Okay, we don't remember because we didn't live this life. But like my parents, they had a work phone, right, at their desk, and they had a home phone. And like then, moms got beepers for a case of emergency at some point in time. But like before cell phones were a thing, if you were trying to get a hold of somebody, you called them, the phone went to the voicemail or the voicemail box, and like nobody answered, and you left them a message and you waited for them to call you back. And like nobody from your work called you after work hours because they would be interrupting you at home, like calling and interrupting your dinner. So like people had more respect for each other's
space,
time.
literally, yeah.
And nowadays that we're expected to be on call 24/7. We're expected to be answering 24/7. And I just think it's not healthy. You have to like have these barriers to be like, no, this is my alone time, my home time, my night time is me time, whatever.
And it's if you don't hear from me, it's one of two things. I am actively ignoring you or I'm busy.
Yeah.
So don't text me again.
Yeah.
Like I either don't want to talk to you or I'm not on my phone. I'm doing something else. Like leave it alone.
Respect it.
All we can do as guys is, all right, if you're not into me, you're not into me. You know what I mean? What are you going to do?
You're not going to change somebody's mind.
If you're busy, like in this case, like let's say with this sushi bro, chances are you were into him enough to like pursue. He wrote it. He wrote it himself. You know what I mean?
I would have just been friends with him out of the fact that he was nice. I didn't want anything more than that. But he could have just played it cool for 2 seconds. Because you made it out of the DMs. Like, if you think that I respond to everyone and send them my number, like, come on. And then to still be so aggressive, I was like, and I swear, this is how it always turns out. Like, every single time
it's
I'm
like
nice.
a lack
I'm
of
like,
awareness. But it happens in other ways, too. Like, I remember in high school sort of the same thing. Like, there are, you know, some, like, kind of, like, nerdy, weirdish people that, like, I was always friendly to because that was just my personality. But, like, they would just like try and take it to the next level, and you're like, no, like, please don't punish me for being nice. Like, have some awareness of, like, you know, these are the boundaries that we've set.
A lot of times don't understand women have to be bitchy.
Yeah.
To use that term, whatever you want to call it, standoffish.
Yeah, we have to be cold.
Yeah, it's so funny. Touch is auditioning for a role where you're got to play the bitchy character. I'm like, okay, I've gotten a better fucking role. Like, first read, she was like,
so natural.
Like, to me, like reading the lines in there, I was like, I feel like I'm being rejected. Like, it was so honest and real. She's like, I'm not into you. But yeah, it's like women. We don't understand that. I don't get hit on every corner.
Do you remember that guy? You read a question that he wrote in last week, and he was like so cynical about like, I don't understand. Like, I don't believe in love anymore. It's just playing games. It's like, it's not playing games. Like, people always say like, oh, the 3-day rule is playing games. Just be honest.
I don't even know what that is.
The 3-day rule is like if you give somebody, I don't know, after a date. You text them, whatever.
I thought it was
you have
48
to wait
hours.
3 days to respond. Well, it used to be 3 days. Maybe now
God,
it's
I did
48
not know that was
hours.
That role's completely dead now. Now it's you go on a date, you'd send them a good night text. You do it.
Yeah.
You say,
or did you get home safe?
Get home safe. Good night. But you don't keep it going on. You let it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I think.
But you know how you said like just go for a run.
Nowadays, the kids out there said a goodbye to.
It's like go for a run. It's like the reason that the 3-day rule existed is to like give each other some time and some space to process and like decide if you still like this person and to sort of send the message that like you have other stuff going on. You have your own life going on. And I think that's the same thing is like, go for a run. Don't bother her. You send her a message, leave her alone. You have other stuff going on. Understand she has other stuff going on. Let's all acknowledge that that's okay.
Yeah.
And like, it's not playing games. It's just being respectful.
Well, what you're missing here is that the guys that are going to send direct messages probably don't have as much going on.
Yeah.
Because the guy he's planning his photo shoot or his music, his rock gig. You know what I mean? Like, they've got shit going on that they're not. Because if he's sending you a message, he's probably sending it to 10 others.
Yeah.
Because there's like and guys that get recommended, follow this girl, follow this. Because I was even wondering how I was following you, but it must have been through Arsenic.
Yeah,
you know?
probably.
You get the
I thought you just randomly stumbled upon my page the other day and then DM'd me about this.
It must have been through Arsenic because my Instagram is really
lots of butts.
Full of butts. I'm always like, I'll open it and be like, oh, okay. No, but it's fine, totally fine. Is that where you guys met?
Yeah. We met at the trampoline thing, right? Or had we shot besides that?
No idea.
Do you remember we went to Sky Zone with Paisley?
Yes.
And or actually, Paisley wasn't even there, but she set the whole thing up.
Yeah,
But,
no, I totally remember that.
Yeah.
It was either that or at the house at one point. Like, back then, they were having parties all the time, and it was just...
Yeah, we've made a vow to go back. We talked to Billy. So Arsenic, people don't know, it's a pretty big kind of like, I don't know, blog, YouTube, Instagram. They've got, but it's kind of like a chive vibe. It's chicks and, you know, lifestyle in your home.
Yeah, a
kind
lot of
stuff,
like
tits
user generated
and ass
content, but you know, they have a feminist spin, so it's cool.
And then do you still work with them or did you?
I haven't in a really long time. So often they'll like hit me up, but I haven't like been shooting and stuff. My last post is literally from May.
Yeah, I really did the same thing the past like couple years. I stepped back a lot, and I don't know
Instagram shut me down, so I didn't have a choice.
Oh, they
shut me
did?
down like 4 times.
Oh my god, why?
I get in trouble for the things I post.
Yeah.
Before that, it was a crazy boyfriend who like I had to get off Instagram for like 4 months, and I was like, not doing that again. And then after that, Instagram was like, nope.
When you say crazy boyfriend, what led
The
to
needy
the
guy?
craziness?
Yeah, let's
Was
talk
this
about the
needy-
crazy.
was
Well,
this-
that
Let's
and
unpack
I think
the
he was
crazy.
on a lot of drugs. So I think there was a lot of like insecure. Once again, he would see the people that would comment. There were times that I would respond with like a emoji and whatever, and he was extremely insecure.
I just got annoyed when Tasha would write people back when we were like being in bed together. You know what I mean? Like,
Which has like maybe happened once in our
I know,
4
I know.
years.
No, and now I could like care less. Be like, I'm gonna watch movies on my iPad. Go for it.
I'm gonna go DM some bitches.
Yeah, go for it. But at the time I was like, it was symbolic. It was like, really, like you're writing back when we're in an intimate place. I know it sounds stupid to you, and it sounds stupid saying it, but that like there are guys have a rationale. They're not like, I'm gonna be crazy now.
Yeah,
we've been dating for 3 months. Time to whip out the crazy flag. Like we kind of like have a defense to that.
I think it's important to always be respectful, but like also keep your own ego in check. Sometimes people feel disrespected just because like their ego is hurting, but it's that, it could be something very silly. Like be a little reflective about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings.
No, of course. And that's the thing. Last episode we talked about resentment, and you have to realize the other person's probably not trying to hurt you. If they are, they're probably a psychopath or whatever you want to call them. If someone's trying to hurt somebody else, they're like a serial killer. Like that.
Yeah,
serial killers you can like dissect and be like, oh, they killed cats, but their dad touched them. Like there's always a thing that leads back to like, how is this person fucked up? Because in the end, we're all DNA strands with souls inside of us trying to do the right thing. You know what I mean? So like what happens a lot is dudes, they get fucking angry when they're rejected. And if you blocked him, I'm sure he was like, did he try to contact you on Twitter? Did he try to circumvent that?
The Nobu guy?
Yeah.
Surprisingly, no. I really thought that was going to happen, but I had to block him, his number, and on Instagram.
Okay,
and
so he got the hint at that. He's like, all right, I'm not going to go find her on, like
I know, I was going to say, my email's in my bio. Please don't reach out to me.
Everyone listening, go send her a nice message.
Well, he was blocked. He couldn't see it anymore. He's like, oh man,
right.
I didn't screenshot.
You're so right.
But dudes can create another account.
Yeah,
shady, but at least he got the hint at that point, so he's probably at least semi-normal that he was like,
a little reflective.
All right, okay, try the next one. Learn my lesson. But
I hate having to get to that point, though. I really hate having to like block someone because I'm like, now I look like such an asshole. Because last you heard, it was like, I'll let you know when I can get sushi, and then like radio silence. Yeah, but maybe if you go back to our messages and see the 10 times I didn't respond.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tag
you could put
him.
2 and 2 together.
I'm gonna find out his handle.
Oh my
I'm
God.
gonna tag him in this and be like, look, bro, like one lesson at a time.
It's almost
every guy has to learn these things.
Yeah, but here's what I was thinking is like, because I was thinking about, is that ghosting? Like not that I've been in the position to ghost on anyone for a while, but before Dave and I were dating, I sort of was making a point to like, if I had a first date and I didn't want to see them again, just tell them that instead of doing the ghosting thing. Just because I felt like it was more respectful.
Yeah. What would you say?
I get like anxious though. I literally I just can't. And I like block their number and I'm like, I don't ever want to deal with this again.
Yeah, no, I totally
the guy
understand.
Goes, she's being a fucking cunt.
Yeah,
and the girl goes, I'm trying to be nice. I can see the compassion on both sides.
But also, like at some point, it's not your responsibility to teach this guy these basic lessons. So in my head, I was saying, maybe she should have just said, "Hey, dude, can you calm down a little bit? You're overwhelming me."
Yeah.
Because like maybe he doesn't know, but also it's not your responsibility to have to teach him that like he's being.
Guys are way simpler than women. We really are. We're binary. So like it's like if you're bowling with bumpers. You hit one gutter and you say no, and then you hit the other, and then you block him, and you go back and forth as many times as it takes to
until
learn.
you figure it out,
and then you knock a pin down. That's a weird analogy, but it's like, you're not going to remain stagnant. You're going to keep going. You're not going to fall in the gutter and never, unless you decide to never talk to anyone again. And some of these guys, like that guy on Reddit, he was like, all hope's lost. He was 20. You know what I mean?
Oh, gosh.
And he's like, all hope's lost, and it's like, bro, whoa, take a minute, go to camp, relax, get some guy friends, dessert, not the main course. Go get your man group together. I've had different man groups through time. Some of you graduate from one and you move to another. My group in New York, now in LA, it's like we're all comedians, so like you see who you see, so you're friendly. It's like being in high school at different little venues. You see who you see, but then you got your group that you're like, like who showed up to my birthday? The Mike Albericis, the Gucci's. There's certain guys that you're like, this guy will be there for me when I need him. They're not always my best friend, but they're in my tribe. And you just have to learn, like as guys, you got to find that. And that's not easy when you're an adult. That happens naturally with sports teams and certain other things, but you have to find like your group because it sounds psycho to say, but I mean, you have to be very skilled at going to a bar alone and meeting a girl. Like, have you ever met a guy who was alone at, like, do guys come up to you? And if so, what's the dynamic? Yeah, are they with their like bros? Like, what's the style that you attract? What are you sending out there?
I think most of the time they're definitely with like a group of people, which is easier to like. I'll engage if it's like, okay, you're with friends and stuff. If you're just some weirdo and you can't even talk, like you're slurring your words, like that's never gonna happen.
I've met girls alone at a bar. I've had friends stand me up and they're like, oh, well, we're an hour late. I'm like, well, I'm not going to wait in the car. Like, I wanted to wait in the car for them. You know what I mean? But I was like, I'm going to go to the bar by myself. This happened when I was...
I literally do that. Like, I have no problem going out by myself.
But also, it's nice. It checks a box off to be like, oh, they have friends.
Yeah.
They're not... it just checks a box off. Like, if I always tell guys, walk into a bar with your buddies laughing. Find something, be joking around, and, you say you want to comment, a guy who would comment something witty and funny. What if you see a guy being witty and funny with his friends? You don't need to know what they're even talking about to go, oh, they're a good time. And you might not want to talk to them, but you might be like, oh, you might log in. Oh, that party's having fun.
Yeah.
And then a little while down the road, or you're on the other side of the bar. One of them comes up to you and he goes, "Oh, that's part of the fun crowd. Oh, the fun crowd wants to talk to me now. I want to be the fun crowd. It's a law of attraction."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? Another thing I wanted to mention was, do you find, and again, so with the feminist movement, I actually empathize with models because. Well, with comedians, we're like blue collar. We're in the outskirts of the entertainment industry. I always say like strippers get way more respect than a comedian. You don't get the respect till you're like really have made it.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way with models or girls with social media followings. Do you like not? I don't know. Do you feel like you get clumped in with? In stand up, everyone's like makes fun of. They call it like an Instagram model. It's almost like an insult. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, okay, well, I don't know exactly where you're going with this, but you made me think of Emily Ratajkowski.
No idea.
Rada.
She's the chick who was in the movie with Ben Affleck. She shows her tits.
Gone Girl.
Oh,
she plays like
God.
the other girl.
Such a good movie.
She's
yes. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Good movie. She's
an actress. She's a model.
Wait, she's at, what's that nightclub? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Okay, never mind.
She
has like a huge nude photo and it's so sexy.
She's like she's very like body empowered and she's not afraid to be naked and but she's also like a very staunch and very outspoken feminist. And she gets a lot of shit on Instagram and everywhere else. Comments of people being like, yeah, well, you show your tits. And it's like, well, that doesn't mean that you can't
of
be
body parts that it's such a normal thing.
Yeah, and I don't know that she just.
And you're the one who follows me to look at them. Like, what are you doing here?
Like, she can't have boobs and a brain at the same time, or she can't have boobs and an opinion. Like, it's really stupid. But you're right. Like, there is a double standard, and I've thought about this before when I'm posting pictures. Like, I actually posted a couple days ago. Did you see that girl? It like sort of blew up on Twitter. It was this girl in London whose art teacher told her to dial down the feminism. So her next art project she submitted was like a dial on like a record player, and it was titled "Dial Down the Feminism," and it was like. I'll show it to you. It was the dial had like off and on, but off was like complicit in my own dehumanization.
You captured the image.
And the on was raging feminist.
Do you find it's one thing to like shut out a stranger or someone who's like, it's one thing to shut someone down, but do you find even with your family there's any judgment of just being showing your body? I mean, is that something?
Absolutely. Even back when it wasn't as excessive as it is now, like everyone was always like, Lauren just can't help but keep her clothes on.
You're saying excessive, your specific profile, not the industry.
Yeah. No. Just like my profile in general. Back when I first started working with Arsenic, my family's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And now I'm like out of control.
Your family probably just doesn't even acknowledge it, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean,
no, they don't say anything to me anymore.
Yeah, I've been doing this a long time. I remember I did this off Broadway show in New York, and it was like a burlesque style show.
Oh my God,
and it had sex in the title. And my mom was like, how blah, blah, blah. Like she saw it on my website because I had like posted a blurb about the show on the website, and because it had the word sex in it, it was like way too much.
That's why we're taking Sex Actually and we're calling it the SAP, the Sex Actually podcast, because people get weird. It's just we live in we gotta remember we live in this Puritan sort of society. I mean, we're founded by like prudent people, and you go to France and you see tits on the TV, and it's not some kind of creepy weird thing like where you go nuts because you see a nipple. I mean,
but I think that's it. Is like because we've been this like so covered up for so long that now, like, if I don't wear a bra and the breeze blows, people feel entitled to come up to me and make comments in the grocery. It's like, come on, I'm living my life. And like, have you never seen a nipple through a shirt before? Like, I don't know. It's a little bit excessive.
Everyone needs to just worry about themselves. Like, everyone needs to just get over it. You don't like seeing my nipple, look that way. Or leave the grocery, get your groceries and fucking skedaddle.
That's what's insane.
I don't have time for you.
Even like people are getting like kicked out of Chick-fil-A for breastfeeding their children.
Okay.
You know, it's like
what?
It's so over the top.
This is excessive.
It's so
That's
over
what's so
the
funny. My sister's got a 1-month-old, and it's funny because we grew up very much like Catholic, and you didn't talk about anything.
Yeah.
You didn't know. But now she's like, I called her yesterday, and she's like, I was like, how the boys doing? The boys, and she's like, they're doing good, and Madeline's on my tit. I was like, good to know, Chase. Good to know that Madeline's on your tit or on your boob. That's just nice. She's like, yeah, she's feeding. Okay, good, very well there, sister of mine. We're getting there. You know what's interesting is society in the U.S. Like I mentioned this on a weed podcast, Wake and Bake, that we've come so fast with the weed culture, like just accepting it. But sex has been very slow because it's an intimate thing. So to accept the sex culture and letting people be who they want to be, you have to get rid of the control and the shame that people feel. Because like you're not posting.
But shame is like a deep-seated feeling that like comes from our childhood and requires like a lot of therapy to unearth. You know what I mean?
But you don't have a problem. I went to one of your photo shoots last week, and you don't have a problem telling someone like that you're not gonna do a nude
But I
photo.
didn't always. I mean, I'm a decade into the modeling business, and I'll tell you what, I got taken advantage of a lot when I was first starting out in New York because I didn't know how to say no. I didn't know how to stand up for myself.
People doing the math. She started modeling at 11. It's not true.
No, but
you're well over a decade in.
Yeah.
You've done it since you were like a kid.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But
like,
I'm talking about like on my own in New York at fashion shoots where people have like an idea. So I just did a shoot last week where Dave actually came with me so he could run the Instagram because I'm so not on top of like shooting. I can't multitask in that way.
Clearly,
like I have to be focused on my work.
Whipped.
Or focused on, but you know, it was the kind of thing where he can't come to like the big shoots for big clients, obviously. But you know, if it's a smaller thing and a small team, I can sometimes drag them along.
When they were putting duct tape on your tits, I got turned on. I'm sure there were women doing it. If men were putting duct tape on your tits, I'd be like, fucking, like, you know, really?
But just for some context for the listeners, so, you know, they wanted me to show my boobs in this one shot where they had these necklaces dangling down. And they were like, oh, it just looks so good. Like, your nipples look like the shape. It was like these necklaces with balls on them, not dick balls, like, you know, orbs. They're orbs on these necklaces. But they were like, oh, your nipples are just the same shape, you know, and like artsy fartsying it. But I was just like, no, I'm not
And this was
comfortable with that.
Shoot,
yeah,
totally
totally professional. But it was like almost like. It was the stylist, I think, whose idea was first. And then she got the hairstylist on board and the photographer on board. And they were like, yeah, wow, it just looks so nice. And I was like, guys, you can gang up on me all you want. But, like, you're not changing my mind. It's my own body.
How old
we didn't
was
talk about this.
The photographer's son was in the other room. How old was he?
And,
let's call him 10.
Maybe 10. But, like, you know, it was the kind of thing where, like, the wardrobe was right next to the thing. And they were, like, getting ready. They were like changing me, and she like wanted me to take my shirt off, and there was like this little boy right there, and I was like being conservative about it, and she was like, "Can we all leave the room so the model can change?" Like you know, sort of like putting me on blast a little bit.
You know, parent services called if it was the other way around.
I don't know. It's just one of those things where like you got to stand up for yourself.
That dude, the kid was totally not even curious. I mean, if that was me, I would be like upside down scaling, you know, the roof. My head just comes down the window, just repelling the binoculars. Like, are you kidding me? The shit I've done to just check out a public yoga class.
Care, but
he didn't care.
You're disgusting.
So we're working on the home stretch here. We're already 45 minutes in. But one thing we talk about a lot is love languages. It's part of kind of like, have you ever read the 5 love languages? So
I haven't either, but I've heard a lot about it.
Basically, yeah. Can you do your homework for once? It's like 10 pages long. Every chapter has a blurb. You can just go to the too long didn't read section. But basically, everyone has this quote unquote love well, and it's what you need to be filled up. So we've talked about the control aspect of things where a guy wants to give you things and maybe it's not what you need. Do you know what it is that you need in a relationship to make it successful?
You have to tell her like the styles first.
Well, I wanted to ask her before I told her exactly what the styles were, because there's different things. Like, well, put it this way, with Tasha and I need what would you say I need?
Words of affirmation. He needs compliments like all the time. He's so needy with compliments.
Didn't get one after my set last night. Ashley gave me one to be. I'm just saying. I'm just logging it. You didn't say I did well.
That's not my style. So it's like it requires a lot of like cognitive effort for me to be like.
You should get a tattoo like compliment Dave once a day.
Reminder. Compliment Dave.
9 seconds a day. I'll build a mansion for us. If you just compliment me, I'll have that confidence.
But that's just not my style. It's not something I think
funny.
of. I don't come from a big complimenting family, so it requires a little bit of work for me to remember to compliment
listeners. Compliment me. Be like, geez, I heard you. They hear me batter it down. They're like, all right, Dave, hope you have a sweet day. And that's all I need. That's all I need. But with Tasha, she needs. There's a laundry list, but she needs quality time.
I need almost all of them. I did take the assessment but quality time is definitely important. I like
acts
gifts.
of service, right? So like if I clean the house for you or something, it's good. Give me gifts. You can hold that one. Tasha loves gifts. Physical touch is always good. Tasha actually needs all of these. Quality time's on the other side. Questioning monogamy, that's not one. Words of affirmation. So I need words of affirmation. I don't need acts of service. Although that's sweet, that's nice, but you don't do shit for me.
But I do stuff for us.
Yeah, but
I do a lot of like cleaning the house without any like recognition for it.
But for me, it would be like making me a poster for like my baseball, which I don't need to do. I don't. Trust me, I'll be embarrassed if you do it.
Point is that this is one of the ways that is like very easy for me. It comes naturally to me. Acts of service, and maybe you wouldn't consider them acts of service directly for you, but I think acts of service for us. Like
I'm going to go ahead and say, now that I look at it, I do need physical touch. I don't need quality time. The amount of quality time you need makes up for any lack of quality time I'll need. It's true. There's no bottleneck there. So anyway, that's what we need. Do you know what you need from a guy? Can you look back and see what worked and what didn't?
Well, I am extremely affectionate when I am into someone. So affection would be like the
physical touch.
Okay, literally probably the number one thing. Like I don't give a fuck if we're in public. You better be all over
holding
me.
my hand, grabbing my ass, touching my back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like if a guy walks behind me, like if we're dating or whatever, if a guy's walking behind me, I 1000% expect you to like put your arms around me or like grab me and pull me back. Like if you don't, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
So how would you break that down? Do you think that you need a guy? Do you need to know like a guy's your guy or that you're his girl? Like, do you need?
Yes,
I think that's part of it. And like being a part of like PDA too, I think is not like about overtly sending a message, but it's like a message for us. And if other people notice it, it's okay.
And in LA, like I'm like, okay, so say we're going out to dinner or we're going out to wherever with our friends and there's 15 other girls that are like drop dead gorgeous. If you're not affectionate with me and you're not making it known that like we're a thing or whatever, bye.
Yeah.
I literally would be like, okay, well, I'm going home. I'm going home. Like, have fun. I don't know.
You got to get one of these signs and just put block on it. Blocked.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You blocked me in person. We need an unfollow sign. That's what we need to do.
Yes.
Okay, those are good ideas.
Get some blank ones. Unfollow, block. Yeah, I mean, and that's like a tribal thing. Like a woman wants to know that guy is hers and that they're on the same team. It comes down to teamwork. And what we don't have is we're not out there wearing team jerseys, right?
Yeah.
We're doing physical and emotional
guys
things.
Should.
Yeah.
Just have jerseys with like our Instagram handles and stuff and just make them rock it all day.
How about just like Velcro straps? We just
we were three-legged race everywhere we go.
But there's gonna be a guy listening going, yeah, but you blocked the dude who wanted to give you the attention. Do you know what I mean? Like it comes after you've passed a level.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Play it cool to the point where like you get to be with somebody. I mean, when it comes to like intimacy, what are there certain things you need from a guy before you like let him be your boyfriend or even? I mean, you're a '90s child. Do you even label them as boyfriends?
No. Oh my god,
that's not even a thing anymore, right?
Yeah, I think that's another reason why the people I date are so like insecure and stuff because it's like I don't want a title, I don't want a label. So they're like, well, what even are we then? Like, I come to your family's parties and you say like, oh, this is him. Like, I don't.
Do you think that that's sort of a subconscious thing because you don't think they're the one?
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, I just honestly, after that one really long, just crazy relationship, I like the title of boyfriend and girlfriend means something to me. I don't want to just say like, yeah, no, we're together. Like, no, we're just hanging out, we're having fun. I was talking to someone for like 10 months and I would never call him my boyfriend.
Yeah. I read this thing the other day.
It just holds a lot of weight, that term to me now.
Yeah, I totally understand. I read this thing the other day about placeholders. It was like, how do you know if you're a placeholder? And it's like, it's exactly that. Yeah. It's like you're playing the part of a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but you're just a placeholder because they're non-committal to you. Yeah. They don't see it as a long-term thing. They're not going to call you their boyfriend or girlfriend. You're not going to meet the parents. It's like, it's like, sure, you're filling up this time and space for me right now, but because I don't really see it as like the future.
And I know the difference between like being in love and just, and even loving someone, but not to that extent. So it's just like, I'm not going to mislead you and say that you're this to me or that I love you or something unless I do. So until I meet someone that I'm as passionate as I was before, like I'm just going to keep brushing you off.
Can a guy be a placeholder? You said, quote unquote, having fun. Can he go from there to something more? Like, have you ever been like, oh shit, I've been having fun with this guy for 10 months and I'm not done having. I keep on having. I realize with Tasha and I, we just were like, all right, we're still doing this.
Yeah,
we were like, let's fucking make this happen. I mean, we were like, okay, yeah, like this.
Yeah, I think we were both just sort of like, we started out as friends. We're having fun. We're spending more time together, and then it was like it just blossomed into something else.
Although there was a serious sort of not like serious like we were being serious like now we're together, but there was like a serious sort of like we started dating and we were dating.
Yeah, we did. We talked about it. We put a label on it. I think we were both comfortable with that, but we were friends for a couple years before we ever got to that point.
The absolute best way to do it.
So
by we put a label on it, she made me get down on my knee and ask her to be my girlfriend. That's what she makes me do. I've got a little knee pad. I get down. I have to ask her.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I thought, oh my gosh, she made every guy do this. I think that wasn't true. I think she just made me. I think you set the bar high for me. You probably read a Cosmo that day, and you were like, "Oh yeah." Then you make him my slave.
No, I think I wanted you to ask me, and you were being resistant to it. So I was like, "Okay, well."
I mean, it was only we started dating early February, and it was on St. Patrick's Day, so it was only like 5 or 6 weeks that went by.
Yeah,
I mean,
like 5 weeks.
You said you wouldn't be my Valentine, and then I asked you I was like, you're my fucking Valentine. We're doing it.
I said I wouldn't be your.
You said you wouldn't be my Valentine for a while because it was only a week after. It was only a week after we like first went from friend zone to bone zone. It was a week after, and so I was like, you're my Valentine. I got tickets to go see Cirque du Soleil. Got to take you, and you were like, no. But I think you're just being. I think I was still a little hesitant. I think that like that jump for me from friend zone to bone zone was it was just a little maybe not like traumatic, but like I wasn't 100% sure that I was like ready for that yet, and like I really liked my single life, and I was maybe dating some other people, and I like you were spending so much time with me. You took me to Joshua Tree. You were spending a lot of time with me.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think I just, it's part of like being single is really fun. You don't have to answer to anybody. Just like you said, you do what you want. You go to dinner, you go out with your girls. It's a lot of freedom. And I think, part of it wasn't only about giving up that freedom. But for me, I'm a Taurus. And my rising sign is Libra. I'm like very slow to make decisions. And like I'm an introvert. I have to process things like super deeply. And so I think I just like hadn't quite made up my mind that I was like ready for this next step yet. And so it took a little time. And
you're right about the controlling thing. You do not want to be told what to do in any circumstance.
I'm independent.
It's been 4 years and I'm still like suggesting things. Like I look like the movie Inception. I have to like think of an idea and leave clues out to make it her idea to get her to want to do things. I do. I always have like if there's somewhere we need to be and there's like food, like if there's a taco truck at a show, I'm like, hey, you want to get some tacos tonight? And like I'll get her kind of moving towards that direction.
I was talking to my mom on the phone the other day, and she was just talking about like my brother's getting ready to go off to college, and she was saying, she's like a little worried. He's not as independent to me. And then she was like, as me. And I was like a very independent child, like came out of the womb, very independent.
Came out of the womb. I'm cold. I'm wet. Somebody dab me. Leave me alone.
But I was just, even as a kid, I was always very independent, and my sister was not. My mom was like making a joke that like my sister made her wipe her ass till she was like 10 years old. Like, Mom, I need help wipe. But she was like, you wiped your own butt from the get-go. So I don't know.
So
It is part of my personality that like I like that freedom and that independence.
And I'm okay with you liking that, but I also know that if I was as controlling as you were, we would be never within 20 feet of each other.
I think we've
Blocked,
learned to be like
unfollowed.
very respectful of each other's personality traits. You're not going to fight it, so you just have to
I think it's common in relationships where guys go like, all right, what's the honeydew list for Saturday, where the woman writes the list and it's honeydew this, honeydew that. I mean, it's kind of like, that's how it was with my parents, where it's like, all right, and he just knows the quicker he gets your shit done, the quicker he can go do his own stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, all right. So it's like, all right, now I know, like, before we have a guest over for the podcast, like, Tasha needs X amount of time to get ready and, like, needs me to, like, be on the page. Versus when we started doing this, I need 7 minutes to set up. Boom. Let's go.
Yeah, and you're not thinking about the fact that your dirty underwear is on the floor.
Not at all. Let it lay. Let it lay. Look, we're out of time. We're at an hour, so we got to get out of here. Again, one more time, can you tell people your Instagram so they can follow you?
At LoMariee, LoMariee.
Any other things you want to promote or mention that you've got? Just the Instagram.
Just Instagram.
Go follow her. Leave her a comment. Let her know you heard her here. And
Don't make me block you.
Yeah, go buy her some sushi.
Be polite in the DM.
Just play it cool. Fake it till you make it. That's all you got to do. I mean, literally, that is the key to life: is fake it till you make it. I overpromise and try not to underdeliver. That's what you got to do. Oh, I can do that. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Next thing you know, I'm doing stunts in a movie, and I'm like, oh boy, Googling how to fall properly. That's what you got to do to get in
Tuck
anywhere.
your chin.
Like, fake it to make it. Meet a girl that you like. Take her to sushi. Google maybe the steps. Don't be needy. And then Tasha, people can find you.
At Tasha Courtney on Instagram. Send me a message.
Or we live in Koreatown, so good luck finding us. Someone will. And then the Sex Actually page, at Sex Actually Pod. You're going to be our first photo booth that we're going to do with our new little signs. So we'll log off here. We'll do some photos, so go find us there. And tell everyone, subscribe to the dang podcast if you're listening. Hit the subscribe button, punch it, rate and review. Everyone who does that leaves a good review. It kicks us up in the algorithm. More people download, or some advertising dollars. Any advertising dollar. I just started monetizing my YouTube. So go to the YouTube. I've made $4 in the last month. 45,000 minutes we're listening.
Buy you a coffee.
Yeah.
So slow and steady wins the race. I'm faking it till I make it. Thanks again for being on the show today.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. That was Sex Actually. Bye.
Bye.
Sweet. I got to pee. All right, I'll set this up for the thing. Let me find out how to shut this off, and then we'll do that.
What time is it now?
Bye, YouTube.